Okay, so good afternoon everybody. Welcome again to another lecture for legal aspects in tourism and hospitality. So we're going to continue our topic, particularly on chapter 7, which tackles Labor Code of the Philippines. So for today's topic, we are going to tackle normal work hours work under time cannot be offset for overtime work. Then we also have overtime work, night differential pay, holiday pay, meal periods, and the right to weekly rest day. So technically, we're going to discuss articles 83 to 83 to 96 of the Labor Code of the Philippines. So let's start. So according to Article 83 of the Labor Code of the Philippines, it talks about the normal hours of work of every employee. So according to this provision, the normal work or the normal hours of work of an employee shall not exceed 8 hours a day. So alam naman natin na ang normal working hours ng isang typical na empleyado sa Pilipinas ay tumatagal lamang po ng 8 hours per day. And that 8 hours is excluding your break time, okay? Or yung ating tinatawag na meal period. So, according to the law, particularly on Article 85, it talks about the meal period. Sabi po dito na ang meal period po shall be given by the employer to its employees and should not be less than 60 minutes of time off for their regular meal. So, meaning to say, meron kang 1 hour na na meal period within the 8 hour or within your shift. So basically your shift is you'll be working for 8 hours plus 1 hour break time. And then hindi po nakasaad sa batas na kailangan buo yung 1 hour meal period natin. So there are some companies, particularly in the hospitality industry, na binibreak yung 1 hour meal period. So like what I have experienced before when I used to work in a reservations of a hotel, it's broken down into 3 meal breaks. So you have dalawang 15-minute break and isang 30 minutes for either a lunch or a heavy meal break. Okay? So there are some companies naman na buo, okay, particularly for the office workers. So ako nung nag-work ako as hotelier sa hotel sales, buo namin na-avail yung 1 hour na break time. So, hindi na siya staggered. Okay? Shift, yung mga naka-shift, so normally, nasa-staggered sila. Okay? So, sabi po, 8 hours a day ang atin pong work hours required for us to work. Gaano kahaba? So, basically, according to the law, you should be working for a maximum of 6 days a week. Okay? And because of this, after 6 consecutive days of working 8 hours, so you will be granted a full 24-hour rest day. And basically, the rest day is discussed under your right to a weekly rest day, which is on Article 91 of the Labor Code. So, sabi po sa Article 91, it shall be the duty of every employer, whether operating for profit or not, to provide each of his employees a rest period of not less than 24 consecutive hours after 6 consecutive normal work days. So, yun po yung sinasabi ko. No? So, kapag nag-work ka for 6 consecutive days, okay, at 8 hours per day, basically, you will be granted a 24-hour or a whole day rest day. Okay? And then, it is also another provision on Article 91B. It says here that the employer shall determine and schedule the weekly rest day of his employees subject to collective bargaining agreements and to such rules and regulations of the Secretary of Labor and Employment may provide. However, the employer shall respect the preference of employees as to their weekly rest day when such preference is based on religious grounds. Okay. Talking about the rest day also, on the provisions of Article 91, Section D, trabaho po or obligation po ng isang employer na i-determine ang mga rest days ng kanyang employees. So, mostly, if you're working on the office, it's a regular rest day of Saturdays and Sundays, or minsan kung 6 days a week kayo, Sundays. Okay? Meron naman na kung kayo ay nasa operations naman, so, syempre, meron kayong weekly schedule. So, dinedetermine natin doon kung kailan ka magpo-fall ng rest day. Pero dapat daw po, it should not be less than 24 hours. So, more than 24 hours is okay. If you're given 2 days off, why not? That's really a good thing. There are some questions na, Sir, bakit 6 days a week? Bakit yung ibang mga companies 5 days a week? Okay naman yon, provided pa rin naman yon in terms of working hours. Kasi when we talk about the working hours, ang suggestion po ay at least 6 hours, at least 8 hours a day, no? So, basically, kung susuma total natin yung 6 days times 8, so, that would be at 48 hours. So, yung 48 hours na yon, pwede natin siya ngayong paiksiin. Paano? Idadagdag natin ngayon yung instead na 1 whole day na shift, ikakalat natin siya dun sa Monday to Friday na shift. No? And then, maglalagay lang tayo ng provision for 1 hour for the meal break. So, with that, magkakaroon na ng 2 days off yung ating mga employees. Okay? So, kaya nga yung iba, di ba, 10 hours a day ang kanilang mga shift. No? 10 hours plus 1 hour break. So, para ma-compensate yung buong 48 hours work week. So, a typical Filipino employee should be working for not more than 48 hours every week. Okay? So, yun na lang yung susundin nila. Okay? So, next, we proceed with the hours work. Ano ba yung kino-consider natin na oras na nagtatrabaho ang isang tao? This should fall into these 2 conditions. Number 1, these are the time or all time during which an employee is required to be on duty or to be at a prescribed workplace. So, meaning to say, halimbawa, ang pinirmahan mo sa kontrata mo that you will be working from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Meaning to say, nire-require ka ng batas na magtrabaho, nire-require ka ng employer mo na magtrabaho mula alas 8 ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng gabi, and you should be in the prescribed workplace during those times for us to know that you are actually working. Okay? And then the other one is all time during which an employee is permitted to work. So, when we talk about this one, it only means to say na ito yung mga oras na inaalaw ka ng company or kino-consider ng company na ikaw ay nagtatrabaho. Okay? Most likely, katulad yan sa mga supervisors, managers, no? Na not all of the time nandun sila sa workplace nila because they will be attending a training or they will be attending a meeting. It is still considered as a working hour even though you are not on the prescribed workplace because you are basically doing the task or you are doing such task assigned to you which is relevant to your work. And that falls under hours work. And it is discussed under Article 84 of the Labor Code of the Philippines. Okay? Next, we proceed now to the undertime. So, when we talk about undertime, ito yung tipong nag-half day ka sa trabaho or you are actually working 8 hours a day but then all of a sudden there's an emergency that you have to go ahead. It's a valid reason. You have to cut your shift, no? So, let's say instead of 8 hours ka nag-work for that day, meron kang emergency, 6 hours ka lang nag-work. The 2 hours difference cannot be offset with an overtime pay. Bakit? Kasi iba ang rate ng overtime pay dun sa hours work mo talaga, no? O yung regular hours work mo. Okay? Talking about overtime pay, under Article 87 of the Labor Code, it says here that work beyond 8 hours should be provided with an overtime pay. Okay? And then the overtime pay should be the regular wage plus at least 25% of your regular wage. So, regular wage plus 25%. Take note of that. So, if you will be doing an overtime work on a regular working day, it's regular, it will be charged as your regular wage per hour plus 25%. Okay? So, if you're working from 8, let's say for instance, you're working at 8 to 6, and then your boss asks you to extend until 8 p.m. So, there is 2 hours work. Okay? 2 hours overtime work. So, yung 2 hours overtime work mo, you will be paid your hourly wage for 2 hours plus 25%. Okay? And then, if you will be asked naman to work for overtime during holidays or during your rest days, ang computation naman po natin doon is kukunin natin yung regular pay mo for yung we're going to get the compensation of the rate of the first 8 hours of your holiday or your rest day plus 30%. Okay? So, 8 hours holiday pay, okay? 8 hours holiday pay. 8 hours holiday duty, okay? And then plus 30%. So, that is considered as overtime work during holiday and rest day. That's on Article 87 of the Labor Code. Okay? Again, going back to the undertime, which cannot be offset to an overtime, it is clearly discussed under Article 88 naman of the Labor Code of the Philippines. So, batas po yan, no? Na hindi pwedeng i-offset ang undertime, hindi pwedeng i-offset ng overtime ang iyong undertime. Okay? Meron tayong mga tinatawag na emergency overtime work. There are some scenarios wherein you will be asked to do an emergency overtime work. There are actually 4, no? So, number 1, when the country is at war or when the national or local emergency has been declared by the National Assembly or the Chief Executive or the President. So, kung meron tayong state of national emergency or state of national anything that is of national concern, and then it was declared that, and then kailangan mo mag-work, okay, katulad ngayon na in-experience natin because of COVID-19, we are under the state of calamity, we are under the state of national emergency, technically. Yung mga hospitality personnel natin, yung mga airline workers natin, they were asked, no, to work under emergency overtime work. Okay? So, under emergency overtime sila, and then required silang mag-duty sa airport or sa hotel because kailangan ng tao doon because they're part of the frontliners then as well. Okay? So, second, when it is necessary to prevent loss of life or property or in case of imminent danger to public safety due to an actual or impending emergency in the locality caused by a serious accident, fire, flood, typhoon, earthquake, epidemic, or other disaster or calamity. Okay, so it's self-explanatory. Letter C, when there is an urgent work to be performed on machines, installation, or equipments in order to avoid serious loss or damage to the employer or some other causes of similar nature. So, dito sinasabi na halimbawa may urgent work kayo particularly with, let's say for instance, ikaw ay nagkakabit ng mga kable ng kuryente, and then all of a sudden nagkaroon ng brownout, off duty mo today, walang kailangan siya ng malakihang tulong para maikabit lahat ng mga linya ng kuryente. So probably tatawagan ka, and then you will be asked for an emergency duty for that. So that's considered as emergency overtime work also. Okay? Next, letter D is, letter D. So, that's number 4. 5 nga pala to, sorry. Hindi pala to, 4 lang. So, number 4, when the work is necessary to prevent loss or damage to perishable goods. Okay? So, yung mga nabubulok natin na mga goods. Say for instance, halimbawa, ikaw ay isang pahinante ng truck ng mga meat. And then, all of a sudden, nagkasakit yung driver for the day. So, you will be asked to deliver those to the suppliers. And then, wala kang choice. Kasi, it's emergency because hindi mo siya pwedeng tanggihan dahil otherwise, mabubulok yung mga goods, and then all of a sudden it will cause some losses also to the employer. And the last is when the completion or continuation of work started before the 8th hour is necessary to prevent serious obstruction or prevention to the business or operations of the employer. So this is more of a self-explanatory, so where the completion or the continuation of work started before the 8th hour. Okay, so kailangan mo nga naman mag-extend. Okay, and then so next is the night differential pay. Okay, so let's discuss the night differential pay. So ang night differential pay po is discussed under Article 86 of the Labor Code, and it says here that ang sakop po or ang time na sakop ng night differential pay is between 10 p.m. up until 6 in the morning. So if you are working on a night shift, if you're working from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., you are entitled of a night differential pay, which is not equivalent to not less than 10% of your regular wage. So, that is computed every hour. So, meaning to say, kung sumasahod ka every hour ng 100 pesos, so, dapat may night differential pay ka na 10 pesos kada oras sa tuwing nagjo-duty ka from 10 p.m. hanggang 6 a.m. Okay? So, yes, that's it. So, I think we have already covered the necessary provisions, particularly with the normal working hours, the overtime pay, the holiday pays, the night differential, your right to weekly rest day. What's left with us right now is basically the holiday pay. Okay, so talking about the holiday pay, it is discussed under Article 94 of the Labor Code of the Philippines. So it says here that every worker shall be paid his regular daily wage during regular holidays, except in retail and service establishments regularly employing less than 10 workers. So meaning to say, kung ang iyong work schedule ay tumapat ng holiday, syempre wala kang pasok dahil nga ito ay holiday, pero bayad ka pa rin po ng full regular daily wage mo. Okay? Next, the employer may require an employee to work on any holiday, but such employee shall be paid a compensation equivalent to twice of his regular rate. Meaning to say, if you are asked to work on a holiday, okay, say for instance, you were asked to report to work on New Year's Day, January 1, and your salary for the entire day is 1,000 pesos. Meaning to say, for that day, you will be paid 2,000 pesos. Okay, because that is a regular holiday, or a regular holiday is basically you will be paid for twice, no? And then as used in the article holiday, it includes New Year's Day, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, the 9th of April, which is araw ng Kagitingan, the 1st of May, which is Labor Day, the 12th of June, which is Independence Day of our country. 4th of July is also included. The 30th of November is also included. 25th and 30th of December are also included as a holiday according to Article 94. Okay? So, yun po siya. So, I think we have already tackled everything that has been due for today. So, if you have any concerns, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below so I will know what are your concerns and I will get back to that one. Okay? So, this has been Professor J. Policarpio. Thank you very much and I hope to see you on my next lecture.